immersive experience. Meet your store's retailer virtually in person and get answers to your questions. Let WEB2TELE Magic Button help you navigate the retail shop in real time. All safe, secured, and privacy-proof. If you can't find a WEB2TELE Magic Button, then ask your retailer when a WEB2TELE Magic Button will be available. Your retailer will be very happy to enhance customer service, increase virtual traffic, and boost sales, because that is what WEB2TELE Magic Button does for retailers. So, check your favorite web shop and search for a WEB2TELE Magic Button. You want and deserve excellent customer service, right?
Click on WEB2TELE Magic Button.
Ask your retailer for WEB2TELE Magic Button now.
Okay, I think we are about to get started, so I'm going to change our position back to scene that we need to be. Okay, and then we close the curtain in here and basically get started. First of all, on behalf of my colleague, Mr. Vijay, in here, I'd like to thank everybody, and those of you who have been invited to participate, we'd like to express our gratitude for joining us. My name is Ahmad Moradi. I am with Mr. Vijay from WEB2TELE Corporation. I manage a company called NETSTAIRS.com. For many years, we have been working together as strategic partners in different distribution, different implementation. And one of the areas that historically WEB2TELE came about is a format that we are about to present to you. So with that in mind, I'll first present you with the idea of the format of what we are talking about and show you a little bit demonstration, and hopefully we can get into some Q&A if there are any. And at the same time, thank you for your attendance. So with that in mind, I'm going to start first giving you some overview of what we think happened from the storytelling side. Working in the real-time communications and broadcasting and video for over 22 years and collaborating with WEB2TELE Corporation through iSocial TV and Hexa and some of the other projects, we have searched and explored over many companies that we worked with prior to COVID-19 events. So we were constantly looking for ways of building a foundation for real-time communication. So what we started with originally was building a foundation, what we call the main trunk of everything that we do is called ICDN. And the ICDN idea was interactive content delivery network providers could interact and create watch parties like we are doing right now, as we are streaming through various streaming servers, playing with different content, which we will be sharing with you. Then you're watching this through the rooms. So these rooms had the capability of all of a sudden offering a variety of services and also adding embeddable and integrations and multi-value stream services along with the ICDNs and players, power these rooms into a way that we could create businesses and opportunities. So along with the research that we went along, then we realized that during COVID-19 and post that we are existing right now, as we are entering into what we call the world of hybrid, one of the biggest industry that have been basically impacted with the increased sales or traffic had been the retailers, especially small and medium businesses. Bigger corporations, they have the facilities, the technologies, the know-hows, and they can do that. So with that in mind, we decided that we are going to become a catalyst to create something that the consumers in general can have a point of reference as a brand that they can ask their retailers. And with that in mind was the creation of WEB2TELE Magic Button. And the idea was that by just pasting it without any app, any download, any install, any cookies, any of these other related matters with the security, a small business owner or a web browser or e-commerce can create a real-time opportunity. So with that in mind, I first want to present you with a little presentation coupled with my colleague presentation So I'm going to activate in this screen my screen share, while Mr. Vijay is going to activate his screen share. So we will both share our screens with you. There are also two values in here that we are demonstrating. One of them is the ability to multicast and multi-stream from different point of view. So when I am doing the same thing here and putting this together, then you will find there will be two presentations side by side next to each other presented to you. So one of the areas that we want to take a look at it is a Web2TELE introduction, where we basically talk about some predictive data that we found throughout the histories, and also particularly about North America and United States, where also impacts the data with the rest of the world. But generally speaking, there are some impact of predictive data that we need to educate you, such as how much US consumers spent during the pandemic between March 2020 and 2022. And as you can see, there were over 609 billion in two preceding years, according to Adobe, have been spent on that. So therefore, you can see there is a collective amount of growth going over digital economy and e-commerce, where 74% of the consumers would report feeling valued and understood as a key component in a brand loyalty program that it was offered to them. So these were some of the value that we shared. Next slide, we looked at post-COVID, and we learned that the 2022 mantra right now with most ad agencies and most clients that we work with, like publishers, telecoms, media broadcasters, federations, and so forth, TV networks, is really the whole story is connect with customers and manage the business or the relationship remotely. So with that in mind, we decided to look at some of the predictive data in terms of where the industry itself is going in retail market and so forth. So we looked at retailers that acquire and actually technology companies to better serve their customers, or bottom line, allow to enable to bring services that it was otherwise unavailable and they could not do that by themselves. So technology has become part of this integration process. And this kind of Web2TELE magic button has become part of this experience that we are sharing with you right now. So with that, companies that you can see, retailers right now, planning to spend over 7.3 billion on AI annually by 2022. And this was an estimate that just got increased dramatically from a 2018 prediction of 28 billion, where it gives you, and according to the statistics and the data, that retailers are bombarded with massive amount of knowledge and information, and they really don't know where to go. So when you start adding these unknown elements such as AI and so forth, hand-holding and assisting and creating a transition becomes extremely important. Tech acquisition by retailers that is shown in the recent years is basically, you can find out that organizations like Walmart, Neiman Marcus, Gap, etc., they all have done acquisitions. Their purpose is really finding a better way to serve their customers. And we find these real rooms, these technologies, to bring real-time communications to the retailers so they can serve their customers more effectively. Again, additional stats that we felt that it's important to share during this presentation is direct to consumers, or 65% of the US adults who intend to purchase from direct to consumers at least once in 2022, and then it has reduced itself from last year 79%. And there are reasons also for it, but these reasons that you're looking at it in here is got attribute which impacts the $7.5 trillion business that is expected to create by social commerce. So one of the areas, again, that we want to be looking at is the future of where commerce and e-commerce and small, medium businesses are going. But the key obstacle that we learned, it was 48% of the percentages of the shoppers don't complete their online purchase after initiating a checkout process for a variety of reasons. One of those reasons were primarily based upon finding a way to create solution. And that was asking questions, finding about the make, model, brand, etc. So we decided that we are going to create and introduce Web2TELE as a virtual retail store. Now I will turn over the presentation to my colleague, Mr. Vijay, and he will explain to you about Web2Tele in his presentation. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Moradi. Welcome everyone, Web2Tele virtual retail stores. Now, according to Forrester research that tells us that around 50% of potential sales are lost simply because visitors are unable to find what we are looking for on e-commerce sites. Also, at least 45% of US customers will abandon uh, purchase if they have a question about the product or the shopping process, unable to easily find the answer. Hence, the solution. Add a Web2Tele magic button to your web shop and transform your website to a retail store. Now, Web2Tele delivers video customer service, including technology and staff, with video, audio, and text chat. Now, we have arrived at the Web2Tele retail store, the solution. So those of you guys who are in the room are experiencing the store, and those of you that are watching from Let's Stream are watching it as a channel whereby you are broadcasting this channel. Now you can see why transforming your website to a virtual store matters. Why Web2Tele matters is that we are able to increase retail traffic with fast and responsive customer service. Back to you, Dr. Moradi.
Thank you. So I'm gonna stop the presentation right now, back to the video, and then we will put ourselves through an icon that we have in here on the sidebar so we can share additional content with you in these rooms. In this room, for example, there are a series of menus that has been designed to accommodate integration because there were many challenges. One of the challenges that we faced was there are too many streaming choices according to Nielsen, and people that they try to get to the connectivity and so forth, they get confused. So one of the area that we decided to do with these rooms is bring that diversity into one, where small retail businesses that they have set up different social media and different sites, they can bring them all inclusively into one and give a better experience to the user. So with that in mind, we created a series of things. For example, in this chit chat that you're finding in here right now, the user has an ability to potentially chat with the other streamers that they are in the other sites. In this room that you were just watching a video that I was showing earlier in the presentation, by enlarging the size of the screen, for example, you can create content by taking from your libraries, so from your CDNs, from YouTube, from Facebook, from all the social media sites, and integrate them into one, and then accommodate, again, a part of education. This can become extremely valuable where you need to bring content or broadcasting. Example of this is delivering 8K quality services, for example, through streaming through these rooms. So all of a sudden we have empowered this kind of growth and strategy that you don't have to worry about, and then you can build different experiences as a retailer inside these rooms. So without really bothering you or boring you with the video, we just want to give you some of them that we share with you as a highlight, and some of them we stop because we don't want to take up the time. But we can invite you to visit the room and then take a look at it yourself. Hello, we have a guest here. So Mr. Olaf is here. And here is an example of another video that introducing the online service. So the part of the process of a store is not only about interaction with the consumers that they arrive, but also their education. You place in your menus, place in your content, and place in different services, recipes, and so forth that you can accommodate. This kind of being able to accommodate and provide, again, different libraries, we have created this as a way of diversity, but at the same time to show that you can apply it to different segments of the market. So people that they are selling produce, or versus they are having a bakery, they can accommodate and provide to their services. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to what we call consumer and small retail businesses, affinity marketing plays a dramatic impact in their lifestyle because of their geo IP, because of their location, and because of the way they serve their market. So we had taken that into an account, that only not localizing them, but being able to give them a capability that they can broadcast themselves to a higher and wider audience. In that case, for example, what you're watching right now on Let's Stream is an experience of the rooms that you are seeing right in here. So for pharmaceuticals, medical, health applications, for different services that we can provide and even have fun with it, for example, with the services. So the main message for us was being able to enable our retail customers to provide an easy push button on their website that they could simply accommodate a way to connect with their customers without any download, any app install, or add it to their pages without any kind of a conflict, and then provide a secured methodology that they can provide services to their consumers. And at the same time, connect these to their social media pages, to their sites, and be able to, again, accommodate different ways of business that it can help the consumers as well as the retailers. So the gap between this became what we call Web2TELE magic button. Now, adding additional widgets such as collecting names, mail lists, things in that nature, because these rooms are eligible to accept HTML5 and widget codes and secured content, then you can get creative. But if you don't have the creativity or you need our services, we have team of white glove service providers that they can assist you and guide you or help you in their implementation. And each of them, they bring different value proposition together. But the general idea was remotely being able to manage your retail store, being able to increase volume and traffic, and then adding new value added services into the service as time goes on. So here is an example of one of the things that we call it the value added services, where, for instance, you can present a product into a 3D environment. So when you click on that, now you can see I can move the object, I can increase it, decrease it, I can bring better resolution, I can move it, I can show you dirts and everything else, and all of a sudden move from one object to another object, like here, again, show you abilities and so forth. So this kind of capability inside this digital media room that it's designed as a Web2TELE for a store gives the users a dramatic power to empower their own consumers and bring them here. And then connecting it to the social medias such as TikTok or such as Facebook or such as Twitter or WhatsApp or other social media. Now it allows that retailer not to go into two different tabs or many tabs. They can bring all of this together and make that available to their consumers and to their clients. And that is part of the process that we felt by working through establishing a way that the consumers can connect to the retailers by simply asking for Web2TELE magic button. Then the retailers in turn can come to us and we can educate them and help them to facilitate. So our campaign is going to be targeted toward consumers and create awareness of the Web2TELE magic button. And this partnership and relationship between VJ's Viper Corporation company and team in Asia and Southeast Asia, along with their United States and their European partners, in partnership with NETSTAIRS, we are planning to create a special purpose vehicle and invite partners into this equation, and I'll bring that company and that opportunity as a business model that everyone can participate based on their level of interest. So you can become a subscriber, you can become a reseller, or investor. But ultimately, this entity, Web2TELE, becomes an organization of its own. It will be spun off. And as a result of that, we are going to create a series of introduction incentives, both for investment opportunities as well as, subscription to the program. And those of you who are interested, please feel free to contact us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you one way or shape or form. In short, I will turn over the podium back to Mr. Vijay and ask him for any comments or remarks that he has.
Well, Dr. Moradi, I would like to summarize the benefits of the Web2TELE magic button. It's a win-win situation as what the consumers want and what the retailers want. For the consumers, fast and responsive customer service and personal shopping experience. And for retailers, they increase their sales. It becomes a hybrid retail model whereby the physical meets the virtual store. They have got two assets. They also have got in the digital asset ownership, and the retailers, you control the checkout. Thank you very much.
So thank you. And in short, for those of you that you want to go visit web2tele.video, there is a demo button called Web2Tele that it's in the store. Okay, and you can look at the features, for example, that we have posted here, as you can go through the experiences and so forth. Or at the same time, like I said, just by clicking to the demo page, you will go here and you can get a direct experience as a sample. The way that it works is very simple. Once the user suggests and subscribes to the service, then they receive a code like this for their button, and they embed it inside their pages. And that's it. That's basically all needs to be done. The rest is done automatically, internally, and the end users and the retailers now can connect together seamlessly. And at the same time, broadcast it as a channel to create new traffic and new leads. With that in mind, I'd like to thank my esteemed colleague, Mr. attending the broadcast. If we have any questions or something, you guys can text it out and so forth. But I think I'll be more than happy to answer any question if you have. And if not, then we conclude the transaction of our webcast. I'm looking at the text messages. So Carlos and some of the colleagues are thanking us. Thank you. And we also want to thank you for everyone to attend. Again, feel free to contact us. We are here to help you in real-time communication, but Web2Tele Magic Button is a project that it has been collection of several thoughts, minds, and organizations that they have come together to create a solution that it serves the retailers. And with that in mind, we want to thank you for attending and enjoy your day. Ciao for now.